Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you're well. Welcome to episode 124 of CrossButtonVR, our journey into the world of VR. I'm your host, Reece, and it's an honour to be joined by Jon Hibbins, the founder and game director of Psytec Games.
Hello! It's great to be here, Reece.
Hello!
It's great to be here. Yeah, no, I'm very happy to be here. I haven't been on the show. Been looking forward to it. I'm glad I'm here.
No, really happy to have you on. I remember one of our members of the channel, we added you to get you on. And to be fair, we've kind of wanted you on since, I say week. I still act like Alex and Laurie here, but they're not. I've wanted you on since we had Callum on. Really enjoyed that episode. He dived in depth with all of his stuff.
And I love working with Callum. Callum is an awesome individual. We're about to go out to MetaConnect in real life soon, so I'm looking forward to hanging out with him a little bit. We're doing some activity around Titan Hours as well, so that's really
brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah, at that time, my beard was bushy and my hair was a little bit longer, so the episode finished and they actually screen grabbed it and sent it to me and said, "Are you Callum's twin?" So I actually did send that over to Callum, had a little bit of a joke with him. I was like, "I hope you don't mind me saying, but I'm being compared to being your twin." He's like, "I kind of do see it." I'm like, "Well, there we go then." luckily that joke didn't last.
But I suppose I have to
shave.
If I have to watch Callum most days, we're on.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I suppose I don't see it, but that's fine.
It was, I took it as a compliment more than anything. Callum is a talented person. He's very expressive and everything like that. He's great to be around. I just wish we.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're working together. Really, just I was on the lookout anyway for somebody. I'd known Callum for a long time before. Actually came and work with us, but when it came the right time to employ a community manager and somebody that could help us QA, we're all very multi-hatted in Psytec Games. We have to be. So like while I'm the CEO, I also like code and I do the stand-ups. I work on that and I do budgets and I do vision stuff and like whatever. But yeah, a lot of Titan Hours is actually me hands-on, and the games before have been. So yeah, I do programming, UI, UX. I get very involved with level design. In Titan Hours specifically working on things like the Titans and the way that they're designed and work and balancing, and I mean the list goes on really. But yeah, and Callum's the same really. He has to do, his day looks very busy. So whether it's doing some trailer work or doing some art stuff or doing some playtesting or working with the community and doing quantitative and qualitative feedback cycles and all of those things. So we're quite busy on a day-to-day basis. I think people do imagine that Psytec Games is like this enormous company, but there's like 5 full-time people and then some contractors that we're just incredibly privileged to be working with. So
yeah. I think it must be quite a cool feeling, but also at the same time quite nerve-wracking to have this feeling that people do think you're quite a big company, because obviously they're going to expect big things from you, but at the same point they must only expect that because of the stuff you've put out before.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, being absolutely honest with that, it's like we did the best job we could with everything we've done so far, right? So by the time we got to Windlands 2, and we like honestly we worked with some just incredible talent on Windlands 2. We have to spoke about this, but it's not really transparent on the box, but the characters in that were designed by somebody that worked for DreamWorks, right? The person that was doing some of the level design and technical art left us and went to work for Blizzard. Right? And it's so we worked with and the musician was just outstanding, Simo, who did all the music for Windlands 2 and whatever. So it's like we worked with a tiny group of people pulling off this like really a game that a lot of people loved, and on almost no budget, right? And I'm talking like a tenth of the budgets that most people work on. So it's like a lot of it was passion, and I'd worked with the people before that were excited to work again on stuff. So Nick Pitton worked on Windlands and Windlands 2, and we'd worked on Crystal Rift, and we'd sort of kick-started that again just with virtually no budget at all. We'd got some budget by the time we'd got to Windlands 2, but a lot of people basically worked very hard for not very much, and over time that's given us enough to be where we are today. It's been, oh gosh, I don't know how many years it is now, but I think 2016 maybe was Windlands 2's first launch. I can't remember. It's a while, but it's a lot of years between Windlands 2 and Titan Hours, and then this year this game's been 3 years in development now, and we're nearing the launch cycle. So yeah, no, but it is a lot of pressure because we're aware of this. Like, we didn't want to make a Windlands 3 for lots and lots of reasons. We could have done. There's nothing stopping us in terms of like the things you'd imagine, like contracts or whatever. Nothing like that. We could have just made a Windlands 3, but it felt like we wanted to go in a different direction, and we felt like we needed the freedom of not being tied to the IP too strongly. I don't want to rule off the Windlands 3. Maybe one day that makes sense, but for now,
Windlands 3 confirmed here.
It just made sense that we went in a different direction and gave ourselves the freedom to do that. So yeah, it made a lot of sense. But we are really small. We've got this 5 of us. Windlands was like a very small budget. This is like a slightly more medium budget, so we have been able to work with some incredible people. We've worked with Status Effects. We did Sea of Thieves on some of our art design, but again, not very much of it. I couldn't have them for the whole project, but they gave us enough to start, to plant the seeds of us taking that on board and doing it out. So that was incredible. And then we've worked with more recently. We've worked with incredible voice talent. We like impossible for us to do voiceover at the type of level of budget we're at, but somehow we managed to get Kirsty Gilmore to be our voice director, and then sort of they brought like their friends on board. So like we've got some incredible voice direction in the game as well. So we've worked with Dave Jones, who's known for Warhammer, I think mostly, or they've done a whole bunch of titles, and then there's all sorts of people who've actually I don't want to sort of spoil that announcement because we're going to talk a little bit about that as a thing. But the voiceover, most recently we've worked with a whole bunch of time, but even throughout the cycle, I've worked with Sam Jones in multiple jobs, and he's an awesome individual. And most recently, he's gone off to work for Creative Assembly. And of course, I was so sad about that because I got him eyed up to do our technical for our audio, because audio is not really. It is full time. Like, you need to be around and constant throughout the entire project, but it's not like 5 days a week full time for a project of our scale. And we're not a AAA game, right? So you can't, I wouldn't employ somebody full time to do this. So, but Sam somehow managed to twist the arm of Creative Assembly to work on our project part time. And he's been, and so it's like we've just had this set of luck of having awesome people that like working with Psytec and even Nick Pittam, he's come back and done some animation for us, but again, not for the whole project, but he came back and did some animations for us because we needed it. And I've worked with other people like Rob, who I've worked with on Crystal Rift. He did the characters for Crystal Rift, like all the enemies and stuff. He works on some of that design with us because I didn't have the personal skill to do that. And he's come back and done some character stuff on this, some texturing work and stuff. And so it's like, but he's evolved. He's moved on and now runs his own studio. And it's like, but there's this history of people we've worked with that we've somehow managed to wrangle back and have done, in my opinion, the best work of their lives, right? It's like, but I don't want to oversell the game, but we've done everything we can as a team to work with amazing people, and as a team we've obviously poured our heart and soul into it, and hopefully it's shows in the game. I mean, I can easily say I think it smashed Windlands 2, right? And that again, back to the start of this subject, I think that was a very, very high bar for us. Going into this, it was like I can be honest and say we just need to be better than Windlands 2 on, and how do we do that? Right, and it's like with very little budget and very, but let's make this happen. And so hopefully, I mean, as a studio, we're like sorry, I'm talking a lot here, but as a studio, we're like most studios now. We're nervous about sales, and if we don't get sales, we won't make any more games. And even people that I've loved in the industry and know personally, like Matt, recently knows this Mike before, had to let a bunch of people go, and it just even speaking to him about that, it's like how is the industry in this really rough spot right now? And we're in the same boat really. We do know what we want to make next. We've been thinking about it, and we're fairly far down the line of committing to it, but it relies on sales. So it's like if we don't sell any copies of the game, then actually we probably will have to stop or minimize, and that would be absolutely awful because we're on a roll, and I just want that to grow. And I think Psytec, the people and the future can be incredibly strong as long as we sustain what we're doing and get better and better. I think there's better games in us, but yeah, I mean, sadly, it always comes down to being able to work with the right people
and the budget as well to be able to do all that as well. That's always the issue, isn't it?
Exactly. But we've been very, 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 I can't even describe it, very lucky to work with some of the people we've managed to work with on Titan Isles. So yeah, and it shows, I think.
Well, I mean, with Titan Isles, you I sound like I said that weird. Titan Isles. You let me jump in and play
islands with Titans on them.
Yeah,
sort of says it on the tin.
Welcome to the Isle of Titans. You know, the right introduction trailer like that. But no,
we've got the trailer's actually a bit in production right now. Actually, it's just it starts on Monday, and I don't know what time you're announcing this, but yeah, the trailer is actually.
This will go out on Tuesday,
and I'm very, very excited to talk about that when it appears out. But you know, we've met again. You know, complete fluke. I met the person that's doing the trailer a year and a half ago or whatever at MetaConnect, and they said, "Oh, I'd really love to do a trailer for one of your future games." And you know, the budgets were like impossible. It was never going to work. You know, you can't spend tens of thousands on trailers or whatever. And then you know, the world changes, and you know, just that person has said yes. So I don't know how that happened.
So that trailer's going out very lucky person. Monday.
No, it's going to take a few weeks to.
I think Monday.
Yeah, like. Again, it's like it's hard to imagine how much work's involved in some of this stuff, but at this particular trailer, and it probably will be 60 seconds or so, and will take 2 weeks maybe to prepare.
Editing. I mean, come on. I think people underestimate it.
Yeah, and then to get somebody talented at doing that, and the look, you know, there's a lot of luck there. So I'm trying to give Titan Isles the best shot it can be. It's been successful because really our future relies on it. So some of these decisions are personally tough because it's like, you know, where do we spend our money and what's the most effective thing to do? And you know, trailer's probably the last decision I made, which is like we really need to do this well because it gives us its best shot, especially because. You know, we sort of lived with the trailer for a long period of time. So we've done some trailers internally, which are the announcement trailers and stuff. But this is going to be the final sort of release trailer.
Yeah,
and then there's a bunch of other stuff for release you have to do, right?
There's always that big stuff that leads up to it, and then you actually have the thing where the doors open and people start playing it, and then you have to do everything else that comes with that.
I think we have had the doors open a little bit. We've been quite. There's some people that have played it, and we've had to really because we want the feedback, right? Your eyes. I mean, this is praise, Reece, right? Your eyes. You see a lot of games, right? And you'll see it no matter what we do, no matter how passionate we are about games, and no matter how much we think we see everything. You'll immediately see it in a different way to what we see it, and you'll find. I've seen it time and time again. It's like. You know, within 10 seconds of playing the game, I actually remember a specific one. Like, we played this game like so many times, and somebody literally walked across the room. None of us have actually got room scale set up properly. Okay. So somebody walked away across the room and sort of fell off the edge of the world in the loading scene. So it's like, you know, and that's the first time we've shown somebody that like just walk off the wall. And it's like, okay, right. And of course, you'd think by this point we would know all of that, and it's just one of those things that we'd sort of forgotten. And you know, I mean, it's easy to handle, right? You can create a container zone or whatever, and reset people and things. But we're sharing some of the Meta essentially publishing with us on this, which we've been again, you know, it wasn't an easy like. Yes, we'll just do it. We had to go through a process with them to get to the point where you were happy and they were happy and everything was good. But they've been brilliant in the whole process from my point of view, and I've really enjoyed working with everybody at Meta. This is now my 11th year working with Meta, right? Well, originally Oculus or whatever, in various ways across that time. And I can tell you from my experience recently, it's better than it's ever been. And the people that I've been working with are more passionate than it's ever been. And, you know, even if I go back to Oculus days, frankly, I was privileged to go to like MetaConnect 2 and, you know, whatever. I think a lot of people are down on Meta. I think there are a lot of really hardworking, incredibly talented, passionate people inside Meta. And actually, from a dev support point of view, it's never been better from my point of view. In fact, it's got really good because they've now started setting it up in the UK. So it's like typically everything would be US centric, and I had a great team of people that I work with in the US, but now actually there are people in the UK which I love just as much, and that's all working out really well. And I can, Meta have been playing the game with us and hanging out and just generally giving good feedback and supporting us in as much as they can. And I've never felt so good about Meta actually as I do at the moment. I think it's a big company; they take their own routes and make their own decisions. But actually, I feel really strongly that Meta have been really good partner on this. Even up until recently, they've helped us out with quality checking as well, which is not perhaps the most exciting word, but it's find the holes in the world, the bugs, the VRC checks, and things like that.
And they're the things that are going to make people go, I ain't playing that. Because sadly, sometimes one little negative can be enough to make someone turn a game off. And I think especially in VR as well, it's usually when something goes wrong, because you're seeing it all up close, it completely goes wrong. There's no coming back from it sometimes. You kind of see it and it's like, I'm not doing that again,
And I do have and I think the team we have a very different, I don't know how to word this, so I'll just word it just as it is. Take
as messy as you want it.
I think we think about VR from a VR gamer's perspective.
That's the best way to do it.
We try not to think about you obviously want to be aware of best in class things and stuff like that, and we play games and I work those things out, right? But we're also very aware that we sort of want to do things our way, and we want to do it at VR as possible, and we don't want to be controlled by this will be too dangerous, or this will be too this will make people sick, or this will make people this will be boring, or it'll be too much action or whatever. So it's like we want to make a game that is comfortable, and I think we've cracked that with Titan House. For anybody that plays VR, I think they'll be very comfortable. But we just we sort of know that the audience likes to be set free and wants big open worlds and control of the character and embraced that, because it would be very tempting. And I've got a lot of friends in dev that I really love, but it would be very tempting to go the opposite way, right? And be very safe and broad and sat down, or and we're going in a different direction to that. But that is what we get excited about. So it'd be it is always tempting. Let's chase some money, right? And let's do something. And I think whenever we've looked at that, we've sort of gone, no, this is what we want to make. We want to make these action adventure co-op social games, and we want to do them as best as we can. And when I think about next games in the future of the company, if we can keep going, then we want to keep going that direction and build social games.
I mean, I think we can tell that you've not purposely chased money, because otherwise you would have called the game Titan Cat. I think that would have been the go-to point.
Skibbity Titan toilet cat or something. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, that would have.
That's it. It's a hit. Sales can see it now.
We are. I very much. I'm a gamer. I've completed Elden Ring, and I'm. You talked about Callum earlier. Callum and I have a little debate, because Callum. We have a little bet. It's not really a bet, because there's no money at the end of it or anything. But we've got a little challenge at the moment. It's because Callum plays a lot of deep and storytelling games.
Okay.
Right. So and I play a lot of I would say brutal hard games. Right. So Souls likes and things.
Yes.
And
I can't do Souls likes.
Yeah, and he sort of would say the same if he was here. So he's and I'm saying Elden Ring's the best game, my game of the year for the last 3 years, right? It's just epic, right? And if you crack the first boss, you'll start to get it. And he's saying, well, I've really enjoyed Death Stranding, right? And we had this debate to develop, and so we had that debate, and we decided, and we agreed, actually, let's take each other's perspective really seriously and play each other's games. So I've agreed to play through Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2, actually, and he's going to go through Elden Ring and get to the end, and we're going to try our best to get to the end of those two games, and then see whether we, at the end, rather than just being put off because, right, whether we can retrain ourselves in terms of thinking. So yeah, we do like playing games.
I'm going to bring you back on here in 6 months' time and find out if you actually finished Death Stranding 1 and 2.
Well, I am playing number 1. I'm quite far in. I've got a terrible perspective if it abuses my time. It's I'll complete something and it'll all be great, and then there'll be an hour-long cutscene. So it's it feels like that. I'm not sure it is really an hour long, but oh my god, I'm watching a movie suddenly. But I've when that happens now, I'm okay, I'm watching a movie. It's probably going to be an hour and a half. It's fine. Let's just watch the movie and enjoy it. So
it's
I'm
Kojima,
really
so
trying to.
I remember when
I'm
Metal Gear
trying.
Solid 3 came out, and it got to the final cutscene, and when Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, I was quite young, so you can imagine my attention span to want to watch this cutscene. I think I got in 10 minutes, and I was like, "Is this gonna finish?" No, it's about. I think it was like an hour. I think it's one of the longest cutscenes in the world, or something. Metal Gear Solid 3. It's,
but I am enjoying it. I'm appreciating. It's hard to play games without the game design perspective, right? But I'm appreciating the walking and the navigation pathing and the balancing of the weight, and I'm appreciating the core loop as well. And I'm quite looking forward to number 2 because apparently a lot of that's been improved. And I saw a motorbike, and I was quite interested in getting on that at some point. So it's like I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying the game, and visually it looks great. So
yeah,
there's a lot. And I am learning some things about storytelling in the process as well, which is, something we want to keep strengthening.
I mean, Kojima's great at storytelling, but I also think the way he does his storytelling is enough to kind of break apart your own brain sometimes to be like, what the fuck is he even on about? And you kind of, you feel lost. And then it gets to a point you're like, oh, I get what he's getting at now. Or you make 7 games to the point where you're like, okay, now I understand what he's actually getting at.
Well, I'm not feeling that way at the moment. At the moment, I don't know how many hours I'm in, but I'm fairly far way in, and it feels all right at the moment. It feels fairly straightforward, and
good.
Yeah, I feel like it's all right. And then I play a lot of VR games. I'm really, really into pinball at the moment. Like really into the
pinball effects.
Pinball. Yeah, I to the point where I think yesterday, that'll time where this is, but they released the latest Williams pack with a whole bunch of things, Bot and Taxi and one other, and I brought that, and I'm super excited to play it. But I think I've got all. I played Tomb Raider for a while, and and I'm fairly competitive, so I've got a few friends in the Oculus account. So
yeah, I've seen you.
That's the latest. Yeah, that's the latest thing I'm doing. But I'm mostly doing. I found the best. I mean, I do like the high scores and learning the tables and stuff, but I found the most fun thing for me is actually going to the globe and doing the achievements. It's like to get this score within 60 seconds, and you get a load of tokens doing that, and then you can spend the tokens on upgrading your space and whatever. And I've been doing that, and I've been quite enjoying doing those because I can be because they're very short things. You have to learn the tables really well and get the fastest route to whatever the solve is. So I've been learning the tables quite well, and also the high scores are quite competitive in that space. So I'm not that great at it. I'm probably my high scores is like best is like 25th or something. I don't know, but it's like I'm still enjoying it, really enjoying it.
Yeah, I lose interest in leaderboards after a while. But anyways, we were talking about Titan Isles and things like that. So you allowed me
to
played
it.
Yeah, exactly. You allowed me to jump in it with you yesterday. And I say yesterday, obviously this is coming out on Tuesday. So I played it with John on the Thursday. And he said I'm allowed to talk about it. But before I dive in,
anything you want.
Anything I want. Oh, it's going to be juicy. I'm going to give all the details away. Before I do that,
you don't want to spoil it for people.
I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it very brief.
And we didn't play through the whole game, so because that would have taken a while. But we played it enough, I think.
Yeah,
a good flavour of it anyway.
Yeah. And we'll jump into that. But before we do, if you'd like to support us, please give this podcast a sub on the service you're using. If you're watching us on YouTube, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And why not leave us a comment too? You can also find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at CrossButtonVR, and now also on Ko-fi, where you can support us and help pay for all the things that keep the lights on around here. A big shout out to Golu and Phil, who are our monthly members. We appreciate you a lot. So, with that out of the way, let's dive straight into Titan Isles. I'm gonna say some stuff, and you can kind of bounce back with me of what I'm gonna say. But we played it not really timed it, but we started playing it around about 8 o'clock, and I think we came off around about 10ish. So it was, we're deep in there for maybe a little bit less than 2 hours, because I know I managed to break something, which wasn't the game's issue. It's there's something else happening with the meta stuff at the moment, but that was on me. So that pulled us out a couple of times. But the game itself, I had an absolute blast with, like, genuinely. And I feel like I already kind of already made you blush a few times last night while we were playing it, because I've only played Windlands 2. I never played Windlands 1, and I've only played Windlands 2 when it came to PSVR 2, and I had a blast with that. I love the overall sense of movement, how quick it was, and the gameplay. It was incredibly smooth. So jumping into Titan Isles, instantly, I think the first thing I said to you was like, "Is it like Windlands? Is the movement exactly the same?" And then you gracefully brought me over to these 4 suits, and I think right there, I was like, "Okay, what do all of these do?" I was quite because I'll be honest, I've not read anything apart from when I first saw the original trailer. I watched the original trailer. I was like, "Okay, that looks cool. Looks very Windlandsy. I'm looking forward to it." I don't need to hear anymore. I don't need to read anymore. I'll wait until the time comes, and then I'll play it and have my own impressions.
Yeah, it's
And
impossible to get a feel of a game though from any trailer, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people say I literally get fan thing from Windlands 2 saying I just looked at the art style and I just didn't think it looked very good, and then they buy it eventually because it's on sale or whatever, and they're like, I should not have even looked at the art. It was like nothing to do with the art.
That's the magical thing about VR, isn't it? People
yeah.
disregard games because of the graphics or the art style.
Yeah, which is a shame.
It is.
Still to this day, it's hard to sell a VR game in flat.
Yeah, it really is. I think like the only time I've ever kind of managed to convince 2 people I talk to who don't really play VR is when I've sent them over. I think his name Demo, who does the trailers. He done a couple of VR game showcase. Sent over
he's
his
awesome.
Yeah, I've sent over his trailers before, and instantly, I think it's one of my brothers. He just turned around and went, I kind of want to play that game, but I have no interest in VR now. I was like, the dude just knows how to market a VR trailer to be looking awesome and really cool. So,
yeah, I think Demo's incredible and
incredibly talented.
Really good
yeah. But yeah, you showed me these 4 suits, and I think the first one I jumped into was Storm because you was like, I think you was wearing that one, and the way you word it is it's our basically our best way of looking at an Iron Man suit in a sense. And
trademarked to somebody else, and
no,
we wanted to create somebody that could fly. I mean, it's could fly. It's like how many flying.
There's no reflective natures to Iron Man. He doesn't have the chest rig or anything like that. I mean, but I think in the words of it, it's because you can fly. But
yeah, and there was like we just wanted somebody that had jet. I mean, it was like I've completed Lone Echo and and we didn't want a no gravity game. That would have been really hard. And we're not a slow game, right? Lone Echo is like pull yourself along corridors. I didn't want slow. We wanted distance shooting and whatever. And it's like, well, it's obvious that we need something with anti-grav and flying because jet hands are like amazing in VR, right? And I've played Vime and it was like a great game. And so we specifically said, how do we? Oh no, Titan Isles is more complicated. First of all, I had a blast with you yesterday, right?
Oh, thank you.
I had a blast with you yesterday, and it was no problem for me to play 2 hours. The game is like one of the top pillars that I had as a problem with Windlands 2 is that even the biggest fans of Windlands 2, it's just the same campaign again.
Yeah.
The same difficulty, the same campaign, the same, and there's only so many times. And believe me, they play it a lot, and I'm privileged to know that these people are really passionate about it. But it was one of the highest pillars was I don't want to create a game where it's the same game again and again. We had to do so, we had to break out of that and really think hard about how could we make a game where really, because I mean, it was announced actually the other day, it's like the average gameplay is 20 to 30 minutes really with your buddies, right? And there are plenty of people that do more, but like the average game is people want to jump in a headset, spend 30 minutes hanging out with their buddies in a game or whatever. And it's like, and that was like a public thing the other day, but I'd always felt that from you don't really always want to be in the headset for 2 hours, right? No. It's so we'd sort of, the few things we did. First of all, there is a campaign. There's a full campaign you can go through, right? And then there's and you can save profiles, so you can go through the campaign again and again, right? That's no problem. If you want to do the campaign, you can. But the campaign will never be the same again. The campaign is set. Each part. There are like paths. Each part of it is procedural.
Yeah.
So the seed of when you set up a profile gives you all that seeding, and the campaign will then be set out in front of you. So the tiles you go through and the procedural world you go through will be fixed to that campaign. You can choose which routes you go and things like that. So there's multiple options, so you can look at the map and decide where you want to go. But it's like, that really cool. Means that the campaign is never the same again. But more importantly, and this is really where I think the game shines, is once you finish the campaign, which will take a lot of time, but once you finish the campaign, this end game, and you can go back to any of the themes in the world and any of the titans and keep playing on different layouts, on different, and so it's meant that not created a game that is like it's a great value for end game. And then there was a lot of decisions around how do we do that, even technically, because it's like really hard to do. And secondly, is like making that work properly and feel coherent in the storytelling and everything else. But I think so for me yesterday. And then the other thing was like 4 suits, right? Rather than sticking to one thing.
That's what I really wanted to dive into is the 4 suits.
You could also go back in any of the other suits, right? You don't. You're not stuck to one thing.
Like, and I think that's what I kind of said to you yesterday with Windlands, is that even though I enjoyed it, I also know the fact that I've still only got one gameplay style. I'm still swinging and shooting the bow and that kind of thing. And I know that's what I'm expecting every time I jump in. Whereas I tried all the 4 suits, and even though they have the similarity of the same quickness and that smooth speed and all that kind of stuff, each of them felt different, but enough for you to be like, I can play as this, but I need to get better as this. And I was like, I think it was I dived between the hunter and that one, like you said to me, that's your closest you're going to get to Windlands. I will say I was even
and it's not really Windlands. It's like
it's not.
It will feel familiar, right?
Yeah.
You've got like I don't know how to describe this. Spring hooks that pull you in, and you've got like but you can hook anything in this game. It's so much faster action. Actually, you sort of need to be able to. You wouldn't be able to play it if it was just the green brushes. And the bow. So it's still there's just a lot to be said about the way we distilled each of the suits to not be overcomplicated. There was definitely a world where we could have, and we experimented with a lot. We do a lot in R&D where we could have given a lot of different weapons and choose what you want on your back and choose your locomotion style and choose your weapon style and all of that. And but it would never have got to the polish where you can pick something up quickly. I think you did yesterday. I was quite impressed actually because to go straight in and like we were fighting. It's not a super easy game, right? There is an easy mode, so if you want an easier time,
I think we were playing on medium, weren't we? And then we tried hero.
Yeah, just like and both of us struggled a bit in heroic, right? It's a little bit more challenging, but we didn't want to make it super easy, right? Because where's the challenge in that, right? If you're never going to die, I don't really like, where's the challenge in it? But you picked it up straight away. You started to learn the mechanics, and then because we've kept it fairly simple, although I love Storm's mechanics. Storm has like 2 pistols by default that you can hold to shoot constantly.
I love this mechanic you did. I genuinely, that is so cool.
Yeah, and then you sort of. Yeah, you saw it. Well, you describe it. It's better for you to describe it. You experienced it.
So you have the 2. So on your arms, you've got on your hands, you've got the like your jets as well, so you can fly around with them. But obviously, when you're in the air, you can then use the pistols that are on this hand, or the blasters, I suppose you'd compare them to. And you've got your 2 crosshairs, and you can kind of aim with those. But if you bring your arms together and your hands together, it makes like a pulse rifle type thing. And that was incredibly cool. Like, it was just so intuitive to be like jumping back and forth with a gun like that and then getting your long shots. And
you sort of need to let your rifle charge. And again, it's sort of that little flow. It was the people really love Windlands for that. Like, grab a bush, pull a bow, fire at the enemy, grab the next bush, and keep that sort of loop going, which sounds very like, but actually in VR,
once you get the hang of it,
yeah, it's just like, and we loved it. I mean, we love that mechanic, right? But the what's really happening there is more complex actually than just that loop. You've got to have full visual spatial awareness of where your next bush is, how far away it is, which direction you're going, where your hook's going to fire next, as well as where you're aiming, and all the aiming mechanics, and that all when it hits right, makes you feel really like a superhero, right?
I think that's why
it's your skill. There's no tricks, right? It's you that did this with you. All right, you've got a suit and you're doing unrealistic stuff with a grappling hook, right? But it is your skill that's pulling it off, and so. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you played Storm, but because I think it's very easy to play Hunter and then think, oh well, this is like an upgraded, better Windlands character.
Because you can kind of grapple and shoot at the same time with Hunter.
Yeah, and it's got like a bow you can load up, and it's got there are other things. It's like a full skill tree for each of the suits.
I was going to get onto that, but not too deep.
Yeah, not too deep. And we did have to upgrade a little bit because you need to improve yourselves, but. Each of the suits has got their own full upgrade tree, and they just very easy to pick up, and I can tell you 3 years later now, when I was playing it last night, I actually played I played Hunter for a bit last night. I haven't played it for a few months actually, because I've been concentrating on some of the other characters. But I really just enjoyed it again. Right,
Yeah.
it's a completely different character in the game. It was like, and even after years of playing that character, I still am learning the whole catapult between yourself, turn round, get something behind me, land on the floor correctly, and all of that. So we sort of fine tuned the suits to that. And Storm is like, just talking about it in the same context. Storm, you haven't got unlimited jets, right?
No.
So you have to land to recharge your batteries, right? So you have to stop flying, land on the floor, but it's super quick, right? You almost immediately recharged, so you can take off again. But that means you've got to have full space of the way. And again, it's like so similar in mechanics, but completely different. This time you've got to get up in the air, fly around, dodge bullets, shoot, jet behind you, whatever, do your rail guns, time that to swap to your pistols, so you're still keeping up the DPS, so to speak. And then I'm running out of jet. I need to know, or I'm slowly, I know I'm going to run out of jets. Now I need to land. So you now need to look below you. And of course, not all the levels have anywhere to land, right? Is there like a tiny island, or I got to land on top of a tree or whatever, right? So it's like that again. It's sort of a different core loop, but really similar in terms of design perspective.
And I think,
and all the suits are like that.
I think as well, what's quite impressive, and you say all this, that you're doing all these different things, but the amount of things that are happening around you, the amount of enemies coming towards you sometimes, and like you're doing all these different things, and you're concentrating on that, and like you said, next you realise your stamina's gone. And I think I must have said at least about 10 times, "I'm falling, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna die." Because
and you go, "Oh, I missed it," and and then you reset. It's fairly forgiving though. You only lose a quarter of a heart for that against a whole heart or whatever. So you can do that a few times. It's fine. It's like it's not too punishing. But yeah, I'm particularly proud about that core game loop, and I think getting that right with the 4 characters, not being overcomplicated, still means every run you can choose a different character if you want to. So there's something something to get better at, but also. Yeah, the core loop on each character is something we've really concentrated on, and they're different enough to feel different and behave different, but they're also very fitting with the world. It's not like jarring. It's like moving from Hunter to Storm to Blink to
I feel like Goliath. I picked them up really quickly.
Doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's a new world. It just feels like, okay, this is different, but it's got that core loop of like that makes you feel good.
And I feel like this is why I'm incredibly happy that you didn't do Windlands 3. Not that I didn't like Windlands 2, but I'm so happy you didn't, because I feel like if you did Windlands 3, you would have stuck to possibly that same gameplay style, because it's what people know and love. But I feel like this is probably one of the best things you've possibly done, is having these various things. And you kind of explained that to me last night when we was I think it was when I was using Goliath and you was using Blink, and I was shooting the goo, and you said, if I hit that, it explodes better, and there's actually team elements to kind of work together.
There's also co-suiting, which is a whole different minefield.
Yeah, it's
more deeper at this point.
We won't dive into all of that, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of game design that will emerge as people start hitting heroic and legendary when they get really, really good at it. There are ways to tackle almost every mob that requires teamwork at that level, and
that's
also
what was so
strategy.
Cool about it. Yeah, that was what was really cool, because I mean, most games that are team based, it'd be like, okay, cool, you've all got your own character, go off and do your own thing, but work together. But you haven't really got to go, oh, quickly hit that, or quickly do this, or you go over there, let the enemy come.
Yeah, we had to communicate a little bit at certain points, and I felt bad about that, because I was like, it's like, well, I don't want to tell you what to do, because there's a lot of those things I'm learning. So I didn't tell you everything on purpose, but there were points where we're taking down a Titan or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but this is hard. I'm sweating. It's like we need to get around the back and sort this and whatever.
Every time we got around the back of him, though, I think you just turned around to the other person. It was like, okay, right, this is not really working. It was a lot of fun.
But that's good in multiplayer. It's very different in single player. The balancing in single player is around single player, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You don't get things like a mob turning around behind you or whatever. But in 2-player, it's like it's designed for 2 players. So it's like it's going, and in 4-player, it's designed for 4 players. So you get a different experience balanced to the amount of players you've got, and that well, I mean, partly it ups the challenge, but and it's not like times 2, times 3, times 4. The fights themselves have to be really polished and curated around the amount of players that are in the room, because you like how quick things turn, how many rockets are being fired, how many enemies are being spawned, how much interactive scenery is happening, how the space works with that as well. It's not as simple as just like double the amount of health, because that would be awful. It'd be like a massive sponge, right? So there's a lot of tricks to keeping it fun for the amount of players. And plus, in any scenario, you don't get 4 times the skill with 4 players. Ironically, you get, you sort of like end up with like 3.2 times the skill, really, because it's a lot going on and there's a lot more. Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of balance in there.
Yeah.
I actually don't think we'll stop that balancing for a while. I think we'll keep watching players play and even post release, and just like
see how they get on and whether it is too much for them to kind of manage, type of thing.
Yeah, and just manage it in terms of making sure people get the joy out of it. You don't want something too hard.
And I mean, with a game called Titan Isles, like you said, there is these titans you face off against, and I don't want to go into too much detail of them, because I think that was in itself one of the most exciting things about the game, like walking into that arena and then you kind of see this big titan and you're like, oh damn, and then you
looks a lot bigger than on a flat screen.
Yeah, exactly. and there was that sense of scale, and I said that to you as well. There was just like, you know that thing's fucking huge, and you're faced off against, and you're jumping around and trying to dodge all of its attacks. And I mean, there was one we did, and I don't know, it felt like something out of like a really kick-ass movie. I felt like a powerful person, like taking this titan out, the way we're just kind of dodging it and jumping over the top of it, and it's just, yeah, it was incredibly cool, and it's an addictive gameplay loop. I said before,
as I said, I have such a pleasure playing with you. I love what we made. Frankly, if nobody ever buys, it doesn't matter, because this exists. It's really cool. We like playing it. We in fact, to a problem, we can easily get stuck in the game.
Yeah,
which is not, we've got to make it right. It's no good us carrying on playing. It's like, well, let's just stop now, and we're like, everybody's flying around having a good time chatting.
I think that was what was great as well, though, with playing you, because like I think I said it just before we finished our play session. It was like you can hear how enthusiastic and excited you are about the release of this game. Like when it comes, you can hear how passionate you are about this whole project, and it's like, it's so infectious of just how happy you are about it. And I mean, I just
hope people love it. I really hope people love it, because we've poured our heart into it, honestly, and I think it shows. And I think, I mean, I can only see it from my own perspective. I think we've smashed Windlands 2, right? And it's way better. And it has been so challenging, so personal to get to that point. There's so much to it. And I'm so pleased, personally. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Hopefully other people feel the same.
I think
from that point of view, it's a big deal for me personally on it, and I think the team feels that way.
So. I think for me as well, and I enjoy Windlands 2. I didn't really have much criticism to say about Windlands 2. It functioned, it did exactly what it needs to do. This as a game for me, though, like Titan Isles, I think genuinely I enjoyed it more, to the point where I want to jump into it more. Like I said to you before we started recording, I genuinely want to play more of it today. I genuinely want to continue playing that game. I had a blast.
I'm really happy you played it.
And I'm kind of frustrated that you're like, the playtesting channel's closed. I'm like, I kind of wish you just open it up and let me just crack on with it for the rest of the weekend at this point. But
it's coming, though. I mean, we're not that far off. It's going to be, we'll get out the. As I say, we're starting on the trailer. The voiceovers now in. We're doing the final bits of polish or whatever. VRCs are all great, and it's like, I think it won't be long before we announce release date and start leading up to release. But I'm feeling it as well. I mean, very happy to have played with you last night, because I enjoyed playing with you. But the good signals there aren't all of the. There's lots of exciting things to talk about there, but the good signal is I sort of feel that I'm not embarrassed of anything, right? There's nothing in there that I'm like, everything sort of like is in a really good place. So that's really helpful from, judging where we are.
Yeah, you did keep going to me the whole time. Well, if there's anything you don't like, just let me know. And I did. I got to the end, and I mean, I can be very critical, but respectively critical about a game. Like, I couldn't really find much. I really couldn't. And we got to the end where you just asked me these questions, what's wrong with it? And I was having to try and really, really think of what I didn't like or what would change. To the point where some of the things I said seemed a bit like petty things, because it is an indie developed game.
And I don't
It is a
mind
small...
that though.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they are. I mean, we are tiny, right?
Exactly my point. And that's
and some people will, say, I wish you'd rewrite the whole story and record it with different actors. I mean, it's like, no, it's like, we were looking to get it done at all. Barely scraped through. Thank God we found the people at the last minute. And I'm not kidding. It looked like all the voiceover was going to fall through at develop this year because the costs were just so high. We just couldn't have done it. And we got AI in the game purely from testing it, and the last thing we wanted to do was release with AI, right? But it was like
that
we
would
need
have
voice
instantly
actors,
been...
but how are we going to do this, right? And then it all fell into place, and I'm like, oh, thank God we pulled that off.
So with the other playtesting that people jumped into, was the voice acting there, or was it AI at that point?
No, most of I think you're one of the few people that have played. I mean, there's been people that have played it internally, of course, but externally wise, I think you're one of the few people to witness the final voiceover has gone in.
Well, I'm glad, because I think if you would have said to me when I played the first playtest and I heard AI voice acting, I would have been, John, mate,
yeah,
that stay in. And I'm not touching this game at all. Like,
exactly, but there's a reality of it is that voice acting costs a lot of money and time. I can tell you,
and I get
story
that.
is not a massive novel, right? It took a whole week of recording. There's 5 main actors, and there's a whole bunch of smaller parts on radio signals and stuff. And it took a whole week, and that doesn't include the post editing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the
There's a lot to it,
right? Just for the and we've been writing that story and testing it in AI and getting the pacing right and the characters designed, and for years now, right? So it's like it's an enormous amount of energy to do this. But I think we've pulled off the best story we've done, period, right? But I think we're learning a lot in that process. I think, as I say, I think there's a future gaming studio where we just get stronger and stronger at that, and hopefully we carry on working with incredible talent. But I think it showed. I'm very happy with the story, and it's definitely better than what we managed in Windlands 2, 100%, right, from every point of view.
I didn't hear much of the story. We were having too much fun. We were literally laughing and talking too much. So I think when I play it, I'll put it, for story stuff, I go through games solo. It's like when I play Borderlands. I think I've kind of said this to you.
I think we're really happy with it. I'm happy with. I'm really happy with certain characters. I think there's comedy in there, which makes me laugh even now.
Yes,
right?
there was. I chuckled literally. I think it was in the intro.
Yeah, and because of its nature, there are a lot of lines that have been recorded that you won't hear until endgame. Yeah. Or you won't hear until the right scenario appears. So, and I've got my favorite character is called Bebo, and he's like a robot in the hub that I don't want to spoil the story, but he's hilarious, right? He's hilarious, and as the campaign progresses, his storyline progresses, and it just gets really good. And then in Endgame, it even progresses even more. And we've been careful to create a world that feels alive. And then there's I mean, you've seen it on the trailer, but there's a launch sequence before you go out to do the missions that Quirk always says a funny quip, and there's loads of them.
Quirk was one that made me chuckle a few times, to be fair. Quirk is the one that got me. But I mean,
he's quite a funny character. Well, that's played by Dave Jones and was it Richard Reed? Can't remember. But I've been involved with that. Cut. No. Well, actually, Steve, who's the CEO, did all the voice recording, acting, and a lot of the writing stuff. And we had some what we call game guide Bible done by a professional writer to help us because it's the first time really we took on something of this scale. So he's been very close to doing that. But I'm incredibly proud to have been working with those people because they're just extremely talented. Yeah.
I mean, I'm genuinely excited to play more of it with jumping with my friends. And it's like you said, it's a good game to play, have a laugh with your mates while still feeling like you're playing a game and achieving something while playing a game. But also
My favourite bit last night. My favourite bit last night was when you said, "Are you going to put bHaptics in eventually?"
Yeah, that was my next point. I've got a little note here to start talking about bHaptics, but yeah, I asked you that because the reason is I have play tested some games early, and they're like, "Oh, bHaptic support is coming," and I'm like, "Okay, so or they say bHaptic support," and they won't.
I mean, it takes time, right? It's there's a load of effort to do that.
I think the last 2 games I said that had bHaptics support, and then I was like, "Okay, cool." I turned on the vest, it wasn't working. Then it got there, and I turned the game on at release, and it was working. I was like, "Okay, they didn't I don't know what they've done really. I'm not a developer, I wouldn't have any idea." But so when you said, "Oh, it's all working now," I was like, all right then, it's all working now. quickly turn on my tack visor, quickly whack on my vest.
I'll be honest, I got nervous then. I think the bHaptics we sort of haven't touched for a year. I mean, we do test it. I'm like, he's just doing it now. He's turning it on mid-game.
Yeah, straight away. So like, if you turn on your bHaptics on the Quest like mid-game, it kind of takes like about 20 seconds to kind of just link everything up, and then you kind of feel that vibration in the game after the initial turn-on vibration of the actual, the vest and the sleeves and the visor. Because I was like, if you native on all of them, and you said yes, thankfully, because some games will just do the vest and the sleeves and not the visor. And I love when the games do the visor more. Yeah, the visor needs to come into play a lot more. I love that thing. But literally,
well, it's one of the best things about PlayStation VR 2 is the rumble in the face, right? It's like, I don't know why.
I'm gonna genuinely be honest with you, and I think it's probably the biggest praise I can give bHaptics. I genuinely think the tack visor itself, I've had more fun with that than the head haptics on the PSVR 2.
Wow.
Critical, quite debatable. Might get a bit of stick for that, but I don't know. I just find there's more native games where I'm kind of appreciating getting shot in the head in a game and actually feeling that kickback. And when you play the same, a similar game on PSVR 2, they won't have that. They haven't turned that on, and it's kind of, they've kind of glossed past the actual head haptics. And I find it happens quite a lot on PSVR 2, which is quite a shame.
Well,
you didn't do it on Windlands 2 though. You put head haptics in there, and I remember when you kind of jumped off of stuff and you felt your head vibrate. It was insane.
Really tried to get. I mean, I'm a big fan of haptics anyway, but we really tried to do that well. I did all the haptics myself. That's how involved I am. But I took it from a. I'm into racing car games and stuff, but I took it from that perspective as well. It's like you just. Controller haptics really matter. It's like just getting it feel right, and then if I could get it so that the suit and the haptics all work together and feel right, it should feel epic.
Well, let me talk a bit about the bHaptics support. I mean, I know not everyone, it's a luxury item, bHaptics, it really is, but in terms of support for bHaptics in this game, I mean, I feel like I'm just praising the whole thing at this point here, and I feel like I have to.
I love it. Keep praising.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels great.
But if there was anything genuinely bad, that's the thing. But there wasn't anything genuinely bad I came across, and I'm kind of like I always like to say, well, this isn't perfect because
I am looking a bit tomatoey at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's like I'm sweating. I feel like I'm super. Believe me, I'm pleased.
Well, let's talk about the bHaptics support. Because I remember you said to me last night that that's pretty much you that's done the bHaptic stuff.
Yeah, I did all the implementation. Well, I mean, I did send a completed build of the haptics to bHaptics themselves over Crystal and whatever, to get feedback on it, because I wanted to make sure it was done from their point of view. They'd have more knowledge about best in class, but I really took a long time on it. I designed all the little.
Well, you did a fucking great job. You really did. Like from jumping up in the air to feeling the vibration on like the top of your jets and things like that. So I mainly tested it with. I tried Hunter. I did try Hunter a bit, but I mainly tested it with Wait, I'm terrible with names. What is going on?
Storm's the flying one.
Shift. I don't know why. What have I done to myself? But
it's
anyway,
not a bad name.
Yeah,
Blink Shift.
Let's change it to. Let's change it to Shift. But anyways, so like when you kind of used your jets, you felt that in your wrists with the sleeves, and it wasn't like I didn't have it on the highest.
Yeah, you got to get the balancing. It's hard to get the balancing right.
I've tweaked my vest and everything so much to the point where I'm like, this is perfect on pretty much every game I jump into.
I think it's a little bit like, I feel like this about music as well. It's noticing it missing, but not noticing it's there, but it's there. Right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Good music is it's there and you're humming it, right? But you don't think about it being there. But you would definitely notice if I turned it off. You'd be like, "Where's the music?" You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's like, and I feel like haptics are like that. It's like if they're too much, then you notice they're there and it distracts you. If they're too little, then they don't add anything. So it's like finding this like little balance of like.
It definitely added it. I mean, like, so that I'd fly up and then drop down to the floor, and you kind of felt the little bit of the vibration in the lower back to kind of feel like you had that.
Yeah, there's code. You haven't done this. I know you haven't. There's code for landing on the floor.
Okay.
All right. So there's in the air, landing on the floor on any surface, and there are 20 surfaces in the game, right? So it's grass, mud, snow, all sorts of different surfaces, including liquid and whatever. And you'll feel that different depending on what you land on. And then there's another mode which you might have done. Like if you'd have turned your jets up in the air, full on to the floor, you'd have done a power smash on the floor, and the effect would have been that, and it would have felt stronger.
Why didn't you tell me to do that with the vest on? I feel like I've missed out heavily now. That's the
I don't know. There's loads of little things like I can't even remember we did. But no, all of the characters can do power lands, and I think tank. They've actually got different physics. So the tank guy Goliath, which we haven't really spoke about, that has a shield that can reflect bullets, and it's like got this spray goo gun that you can remote detonate and stuff, and it's like that character's a heavier physics object, but has more power in its jet, so it feels very vibrant. It's much more like a push jets. And that one particularly, if you do a power land, you get a full-on power land. It's like a smash. We did debate like leaving a crater, but it's a bit.
It's more demand, isn't there, for that kind of stuff.
The VFX is fine. It works.
But no, I mean, bHaptics support on this, it was great. The pulse rifle, literally feeling it in both sides.
You feel it sort of go through your shoulder and stuff.
And I did it on both sides as well to make sure, like, is this thing working properly, or is it just always going to... No, literally, any side you kind of... anytime you got the butt of the stock kind of touching that part of your body, you'll feel like the vibration here and kind of rumble down and kind of slowly dissipate as it goes down.
Fully spatialized hit zones as well. If you get hit from the backside, it will hurt there.
It was so
it's
awesome.
Like, yeah.
It was really well done. And then you said about the wall.
I think you might be my first number one fan of this. I love it. I mean, all those little bits add up.
I mean, if I was sitting
I was going
to say, if I was sitting here talking about Windlands 2, I probably could have said some things like, probably more critical about that, because I feel like I was more critical about Windlands 2. Not that I didn't like it, I just feel like...
No, Windlands 2 would have been, like, talking about the same thing Windlands 2 has bHaptics in. It would have just...
Oh, you're just talking about the bHaptics side of stuff.
Windlands 2 had bHaptics in it, but it would have been footsteps. It would have been not different per surface. It would have been...
And obviously, it doesn't have bHaptics on PSVR 2. And I mean, at the time when Windlands 2 came out, I never had bHaptics either.
It was when bHaptics was version 1 of their SDK, and upgrading that to version 2 would have been horrifically complex, because you have to rip it all out, redo it all, and
then you just got to decide whether it's actually worth the time and effort. And sadly, in some circumstances, it's not, is it?
Yeah, it's rough, that, and of course you want to do everything the best you can, but there's also this, and there's like a diminishing returns as well. You could spend a week on doing one thing, or a week on doing another thing, right? Do you spend a week on doing a revision to bHaptics for one platform, or do you spend a week making a new R&D project for a brand new game for another for all the platforms? It's like, well, sometimes those are tough deals. As much as possible, I try and do the first one and get, but we just have to sort of cap the diminishing. Look at the diminishing returns. And, that's all horrible. I hate that part of business, because I just wish money and resource wasn't.
You just want everyone to be happy and play the game, and everyone can.
Because.
Not everyone be happy and play the game. I mean, you can't please everyone, like we've said, but at least give everyone a chance to play the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, and we have real challenges with PlayStation VR 2 for Titan Hours. It's like everything I love my PlayStation 2. I've got a PlayStation VR Pro. I play every month. I play Grand Theft Auto 7. I love my PlayStation. And
sorry, you play Grand Theft Auto 7?
No, sorry. Gran Turismo 7.
I was about to say, mate, we're going to have a long chat after this. You're going to be telling me some stuff.
That'll be quite good. Yeah. I know some people working on it, but I can't say I've played it.
Oh,
well, I mean, go around world meeting devs who meet some incredible people, and that's cool, and have some good conversations. So it's really nice to meet people that are working on these things.
I mean, let me say the one last thing about the bHaptics side of stuff, because again, like I said, it is a luxury product. It's not saying that everyone's going to be able to experience, but you said about the warp, and I tell you what, that was absolutely fucking insane. Like, literally, it's like your whole body is just rumbling, and then it kind of
trying to feel the suit and amplify it, and
it picks up, and then it really hits, and it kind of slowly goes down as you kind of get into the level. And I was like,
if nobody else tries it, I'm glad you appreciate it, because I really, really put effort into it. And
I'm serious. When this game comes out, if you're someone who has bHaptics, just load it up with bHaptics. Just don't even jump in without it first. Just try it on, and then take it off afterwards if you really want to. But it was. No,
I do think I've played it a lot in haptics. I think haptics.
I love the bHaptics. I can't fault it as a product. I think
it's not just that. I spent as much effort on the actual controllers. We're using the full HD vibration controllers of the Quest, and yeah, really we've created exactly.
Yeah, because I was feeling all the
really,
vibration with the
yeah.
with the actual like the jets and things
So
like
you'll
that.
have a good experience, I think,
It is,
anyway.
yeah.
And again, it doesn't feel like it just feels like natural and
Yeah, it
what you
doesn't.
would
It doesn't feel
expect.
bad without bHaptics. I'm not saying you need bHaptics to play this game in any way, shape, or form. But
Oh,
it's
you can ramp it up. There's an option to go, I want more.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, that's fine, go to 11. Right. So we try and do, I've got this chat because, I mean, a lot of games, right? But we try and do a checklist of all the things in VR to make comfort and, you know, things like left-handed, right-handed, you know, controller swaps, button management, comfort stuff, angles on guns. I mean, gosh, the list of things that we've got
and
now for
like you said,
accessibility alone.
your menu you've done as well, like the way it's interactable. It's no point at this and click this button. It's not at your.
Yeah, I don't like. I've got a real. One day I'll do a talk on it, but I've got a real hatred to laser pointers. I just don't like laser.
Have an aversion to cats by any chance?
No, I've got 2 cats. I love my cats.
Okay, fair
But
play
no,
then.
I find a flat laser pointer menu in VR. Personally, I really hate it. And but anyway, that's
Yeah,
it's not.
I feel like
it's not that important, and perhaps I'm being unreasonable. But now I try and make.
I feel like it's really
good.
I feel like I've triggered you. I feel like I've like.
Yeah,
I can sense you
again,
really want to talk about it, but at the same point, you're like,
well,
I will spend too long talking about this.
yeah, there's a few things in VR. I mean, I'm super privileged to be like go and see Meta and spend time with them and talk to them about things that are about the future and what would make things better in these days. As well as like, so you know, I know that there's a lot of effort from everybody to make improvements. Like,
yeah.
You know, I don't want to talk about anything because maybe there's NDA and I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not dive you into that one.
I do passionately feedback my thoughts on how things could be better in VR and how to centralize things and do things in better ways and stuff. And I do attend a lot of conferences and talk to other devs. And
I mean, I just found it funny when it's like the whole menu, the way you can just kind of grab it and just kind of like start doing like a little flip side.
Yeah, put it where you want.
Yeah, I was just messing around with it, using on the menu. I was like flipping around. Like, can you see me even doing this? Like just shaking this whole menu around.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, well, I can see you doing it with, but yeah, no. I mean, you're making me feel. Again, I'm getting red. It's like,
well,
but there's a lot of those details. We probably overgo. I think we're a detail first company, and we like to try and get those right. But I can't honestly say that those are just done right. It's like a lot of those things are. Wouldn't it be good if you could grab the menu and move it where you wanted it to be?
Yeah.
And then somehow with all of these priorities you've got, some of them very critical, some of them not so, is making sure that those things do get done. It's hard. It's like bHaptics and stuff. And I suppose we have a slightly, and this is very much driven by us as a team. We try and do that stuff early. So you'd be surprised how well, or at least mid-cycle. So like bHaptics has been in there for well over a year now, right? And it's like because at the end you don't want to be doing the bHaptics implementation. You have time to test it. It won't be done as well. You've got all those priorities around. What do you do? Do you do bHaptics, or do you get this character working because it's not working and it's broken, or do you fix this bug that's in? It's like, so we try and do the detail in the middle ground to a high level of quality. And then you've sort of got the worst version of the game, and it's a bit like that with performance as well, making sure we hit like frame rate and the full resolution of the Quest was a really important part of what we're doing, which is I cannot tell you how technically challenging that has been for us. I think that Titan Hours is the biggest open world example on the Quest because just we've done some really clever stuff to manage memory and manage the amount of texture load we've got.
Yeah.
And
there is a lot that happens. Like I said, there really is.
Yeah.
There is a lot that happens.
Yeah. And that's been quite challenging. We had good foundation because Windlands 2 was a big game. I mean, you like large worlds. So we had some foundation of the technology stack, but it's really been, again, Windlands 2 was not procedural and it wasn't, all these other things we were doing. It's been a lot of technical challenge, and I'd say the first year was working out our pipeline and getting that working at all was a real big challenge. And then, later on, getting it performant at a frame rate while thousands of bullets, tens and tens of mobs
Yeah.
and giant titans with 4 players and all the bullets flying everywhere and jets. And yeah, it's been quite a technical challenge for us, but I think we've managed to pull it off and fairly well. And I think that's good.
Well, I genuinely look forward to playing it when it fully comes out and giving everyone my final thoughts on it once I finish it. And hopefully they're still as glowing and I don't get to a point where I'm like, you know.
I hope not. I'll be honest, Reece. I had a conversation with my wife last night because it's like, how did it go? How did it go? And I think he really liked it. And I said, and she said, what the Titans or whatever? And I'm like, well, we played the first like 3 Titans, and that's quite a long time into the game. And but I know that it gets better from now on. So
here we go then.
There are lots of people. I think you quite liked the third Titan.
Yeah, the third one was probably my favorite one. Yeah, so far.
But I think you said at the second one, this one's really good. So it's like it was good.
Yeah, it was a pain, but at the same point, like I said, it wasn't a frustrating pain like certain games will make.
Yeah, you haven't quite got to the ones I'm most proud of yet.
Okay, well that's good then. And again, I can't jump back in. This basically, like genuinely,
there's more mobs, there's more titans, there's more mini bosses. You haven't seen it all, which is great.
Because I remember asking you.
I know the last.
Well.
I'm very, very proud of the final crescendo of the game for a couple of reasons. I think the Titan, we actually went.
Has anyone played against the Titan, the final Titan, other than yourselves and the rest of the team?
No, some very few playtesters, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean playtesters have, but we're talking internal playtesting there, not really external. But there are a few. There's one person I'm aware of that's completed the game, but actually completed it with an early version of the final Titan. So not very many people have done the fighting design, but we have a lot and tested it, and we just wanted to finish on a high note with a great Titan, and then going into the credits, we made a custom, like we did in Windlands 2, we made a custom song and a custom credit scene with and every time I go through that last Titan and into the credit scene, I'm going to sound emotional wreck here, but I get really emotional. I struggle to go through it because the song's great, and I know the musician. It just did the right things there, and really proud of it.
I'm really looking forward to it. I am.
Her name's Danai, and she's amazing. And there's a full original soundtrack to the game, so it's like I've got a full out, and we're actually going to bring a vinyl out. It's that good. So we're really proud.
And I'm going to buy a vinyl player just specifically for it. Exactly.
Well, they're quite rare, those vinyls, but yeah. No, but I was trying to do something that could reward the people that have worked on this, but also, we could give out as a really cool thing to have.
Talking of vinyl soundtracks, I'm still hoping for the day the developers of the Midnight Walk, I really want them to bring that out on vinyl. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
Genuinely love that soundtrack. So that's
There are there's I know a person that collects game soundtracks, and of course there's lots of vinyls now from Black. I think it's Black Screen, Black Smoke. I can't remember Black Square. Anyway, there's a vinyl company that literally does publishing of game vinyls. So it's a big thing. It's a big deal. But I think they're great as an art piece or something to put on a picture on the wall as well.
Yeah, I've got 3 different limited edition ones. I've got 2 that are signed. And,
well, this will be very limited edition. couldn't afford to buy that many. We've done a good job, I think.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what people think of the soundtrack as a whole. But yeah, it's specifically, I can't really say that it was my idea because I loved the Portal ends. Where you get that the song with the cake and everything at the ends, and I love those soundtracks. And I was if I, yeah, exactly, that exact song.
It never leaves you either. It's like, it's fantastic.
No, but that moment of like bookmarking the game, and saying it's done.
You left it with that great song as well, yeah.
So actually, the first time I did it was Windlands 1, and that's got a bookmark track at the end, full vocal track. Then I did the same in Windlands. We did the same in Windlands 2 and got a bookmark vocal track at the end. And now this is a thing for us. I think we need to have a dedicated, full vocal piece of music in the credit. So it just and having gone through those 3 times, it's like there's a real moment of like closure and and I think so. The final tie-in and then the closure of going through a credits track and everything else. I feel really. Again, I recently went through a full playtest of the game end to end. It took us it wasn't just one session, but we went through the whole game. And then when I got to the credits, it's that moment of this is just, we've done it. We've got that feeling. But yeah, there's numerous Titans you've not met yet that I can think of at least 3 that you've definitely not seen yet that are arguably my favourite. So.
Well, I am looking forward to it. I really am, and I'm hoping everyone.
Yeah, I didn't just want one tie-in. No, that was never going to.
It was quite funny because you kept saying to me, "He was like, you done yet?" And I was like, "Nah, let's go again. Let's do another one." He's like, every time, "You good to go for another one?" Yeah, no, I want to go for another one. I think you was kind of waiting for me to say, "No, I'm done. I'm ready to come off." I only stopped because I kept getting a notification saying your battery on your controller is low, and then my head strap ran out of battery, and I was like, "Oh, this is not going to go well, is it? I'm going to get midway through, and it's still going to stop."
I mean, I don't, I'm sure people play rush through it or whatever, but it's like if there's an end game and it will carry on, and you can buy all because there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can
you got the various upgrades.
There's more collectibles in this game, which we found a few. We did a few of the collectibles.
You was I thought some of them were hidden really well. You turned around and went, no, they're not, and I'm like, thanks, John. No, I just feel like I'm blind.
No, some of them, a bit of a trick from Windlands 2 again, like a third of them are just on show. So you sort of see them as oh, there's one up there and I just need to go and get it. A third of them are slightly challenging. They're in unusual places where if you look hard enough, you'll find them. And then a third of them are we put them specifically in challenging places. So it's either challenging to get to them, so you fly swing, whatever, or they're specifically well hidden in specially curated rooms and stuff. So it's so it does get, it's quite a fun thing to do to find them. But we've got 2 types of collectibles in this. We've got the relics, which again sort of have story tied to them, but they're there's 100 of those, I think, and then there's 100 targets to hit with a weapon, and then there's 16 physically hidden rooms, special monument rooms in the game, and then there's God knows how many. I can't remember how many content creators we've got up to now, but there's a whole bunch of content creator.
Yeah, I will be checking with you. I will be I'm going to send you over my thing and be is this one in there? Tell me where it is. So I can find it myself.
There are a whole bunch of them.
I will be checking.
They're just they're quite cool when you find them. I found one the other day. We'd obviously know where the secret rooms are, and we just wanted to check whether you could get to the secret room with a certain character, because it's hard room to get to. And we could get into the room, which is great. And we went in there, and then I saw that was one of the rooms that contained a content creator on the wall. It's actually, I could tell you it is. I don't want to spoil it.
I mean,
but it was so-and-so's here.
I'd love to have me little cartoon image in the in a game, and I can fully say my my logo's not
go find your character. We don't tell. There were a whole bunch in Windlands 2. We never told anyone where they were specifically, but it's
did they know they were going to be in there though? Did you say we've put
no? It was slightly different then. We didn't. I think I've got more sensitive to permissions. Yeah. In Windlands 2, it was more
because I messaged you and I didn't get a response. I'm like, okay, I'm assuming I'm not in there, so I'm gonna rehash that with you.
Assume that. I mean, replying and saying here's a picture and
No, I don't want that. I just want to done.
No, but it's basically permission at that point, so that's fine.
Oh, I didn't send the picture. I should probably send that over. If you're still adding them,
send a picture over.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You might just, but there are, I think those things are fun. Definitely squarely under Easter eggs. There are a few Easter eggs in this game. There were a lot more things I wanted to do that you get close to, and you think, well, I really want to do this, but it's going to take a lot of time to do it. But there was plenty of Easter eggs in the game. There were silly things. We did a few at the ends. You can feel your own heartbeat and stuff again.
Yeah, you showed me that, and I've actually got a question about that.
Right. There's just little things.
Can I feel your heartbeat though? Because I didn't test it. Can I put my hand on your heart?
I don't think so, but maybe. It's weird when another character puts their hand in your chest and rips it out.
Just pulls out the heart with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like those little things because they're cool when you find them. But back to sort of detail first, the most important thing is hit frame rate. Hit frame rate. Make sure it's smooth and
it really is.
Tying out, you have to be smooth because it's too much, right? Otherwise, you don't want to be juddery at the speeds, and it has to be smooth. So I think that's the bit. If I was to say the one thing, it's the technical pipeline to hit frame rate and resolution smoothly with 4 players with all that's going on. That bit's the bit that has been the most challenging, but also the most rewarding when we're managing. So yeah, cool. It's really cool that. Yeah. What do you think of the other characters?
what do I think of the other characters? So, in terms of the ones I like the most, so obviously we've got Storm. That's right. Yeah, got it right. There you go. Boom. I don't know why I keep forgetting that one. I'm gonna go mad at myself.
Maybe
I've
we
actually.
named it wrong. I quite like it. It's all right. It's made good, nice. I suppose I'm just used to it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've actually got them in the order I enjoy playing them. So Storm was definitely the one I enjoy playing as the most, and that's more because I play a lot of shooters, and I feel like he's the more oriented to
and
a shooter.
I sort of said this last night. That character was if you play shooters, you're going to enjoy this character.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right? It's going to feel like
Followed by a hunter. Just because it felt familiar. I also felt really cool when I was swinging over the top of enemies and shooting the bow at them. I really dig that.
Bow is such a lovely mechanic in VR.
It's so cool. Like every time you feel like a badass when you do it as well. Like
I mean, there were hardly any bow games around when we made that bow in Windlands 2, like early on in the cycle of development, and the ones that were very much reload over you.
Yeah.
So we sort of did this auto reloading thing, and when we felt that, I just remember specifically feeling that day. I think Ilya had done some code tests or whatever and checked it in, and then we were checking it, and we're like, "Oh wow!"
Because you can really go like Legolas and do like proper speed fire it as well, and
you can. Yeah, it's got that like you can
you can really rapid it, and this
code around. Yeah, there's code around minimum timing on that, and various, there's loads of little subtleties to it, and little clicks in the way that you pull the bow, and like the power vibration when you're holding it, and it's like all of that just comes together. I really like the bow.
The bow is good, and I think you're going to be disappointed with me. I'm going to say Goliath was probably my third favorite, and then followed by Blink.
You're wrong there. Blink's the best.
Okay, I like Blink, but I feel like the fact that it was the monumental jumps and I kept cocking up the wall running, but I spent the least time with Blink, so I think that's my own kind of problem there.
Blink is the most technical, and like I would say, even on the dev team, it's the one we, at least me and Callum, who's like technical 3D artist and stuff and does level design things with us, he loves that character. I love that character the most, but it is the most complicated. It's the deepest. It's like it's the what, but when you learn it and pull off what it can do, it's more capable than the others. It's just more complicated, and you need to be very accurate and like
it's the whole
two discs,
discs,
and you can pull them over your shoulder, so you've sort of got this like run along a wall, jump into the air, dash through some bullets and pull out two discs and fire them. When you start pulling that off, it's like, oh my god.
And I think that's the issue. I didn't pull any of that off.
You're not doing that straight away. You're like, okay, I've got the 3 jump and I've got the disc going.
And I think I kept messing up the jumps and just falling as well. And because obviously I don't have jetpacks with it, I was just falling.
But it's fine. I think
exactly.
Blink, I mean, I've watched enough people play Blink now. There's this weird oxymoron that whatever you play first, so in that room, it's like whatever, but whatever you play first, you tend to choose something that syncs with your thoughts, and then you tend to love that one and nothing else. And I've watched people go in and say, well, this is the best, right? It's like, this is the best, and play it, and then like, I don't want to play this. It's like, this is the best, that's and you're doing sort of that same thing again. You could be somebody else and they would go, I like Goliath more than anything else, and the rest of them are like that, whatever. But that's a good, because it shows that there are different.
It's something for everyone. I think that's the best way for it. It's the best way of looking at it.
I felt good about that. I've not felt like, oh my god, we should make the other ones better.
And it does. They're just different. It really does make the game feel different enough that each time that you play, that you're not constantly playing the same game. It's changed up just enough to make.
Yeah, it's also interesting all going in as the same character, which is a different thing. All right, so it's like. There are pros and cons to each of the characters in different scenarios. So some characters just naturally are going to be better at dealing with some mobs, right? It's like, I can give you an example with Blink. Blink, you can run up to a mob, dash through the mob, turn around and hit its weak spot, right? And
can you do that with Titan?
That's the only character you can really do it with, because if you get closer and you start getting threat and you're hitting them and you start to, then it tends to track you and then move its head so that you can't, so you can't get behind it, right? So it's like, so Blink's got this, like, and as I say, Goliath, you can sort of be quite close to a mob, use your shield timing wise.
I
to
did
get
find
the
the
same
shield
beat.
was perfect on the second Titan we was
Yeah,
playing
you get the
against. So
same beat as the shooting.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. And then if you get the same beat as the shooting and you've got the skill that reflects bullets, you're actually killing it just by doing this. And that can, again, 2 of you playing as a team of Goliaths, you can pretty much create an armored wall and reflect all the bullets. Kill, so it's like it's got some interesting things that if you I'd like to do more of that. Genuinely, if we get the privilege to do another game, I'd like to do more emerging physics gameplay. There's a lot of physics in this game; it's all physics driven.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do an emerging physics gameplay game and spend more time on the art of the possible with the tools you're given. I'd like to do more of that.
Well, I mean, seeing as I've not finished it and it's not out yet, I'm gonna stop talking about it because I think all I can say is praise at this time. And as soon as it comes out, I'm pretty sure people can hear the rest of my thoughts on it when we get to that point.
Oh, you got bored of it by then, and you're just right. Yeah, it doesn't overlap. Maybe no, because you can't play the rest at the moment. Oh, that's a good idea not to let you.
Yeah, I can't continue right now. So I mean, what I should really say is, no, it's fucking terrible. No, it's not. I genuinely want to jump back in. It's I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and it might have been because of the company. I had a really good time playing with you, John. But I mean, at the same time, I think it was the
games are always better with another person,
exactly.
Right?
You play with a mate.
It's like because you're doing it. I mean, I'm hyper aware of that in VR. It's like it's the reason that Windlands 1 was single player and Windlands 2 was multiplayer. It's like we just need to do multiplayer. But I mean, that's a nightmare. Everything's more complicated when it's multiplayer, apart from the engineering of the multiplayer. I mean, we've been thoughtful on this.
I'm so happy as well.
Crossplay and all of that.
With your multiplayer, the character models actually when they're both moving, they look absolutely fine. It doesn't look like out of tune. I always remember back to I think it was when I played Arizona Sunshine, the original on a PSVR 1. And it used to be the character would be on the tiptoes and like their body would be leaning forward like this when walking. And even though
I wish we got it all perfect. I still.
I mean, it was better than that, but again, that was a long time ago. I can excuse that.
Right. I think we've got better at it.
Yeah,
but, it's not bad. I'm particularly proud of certain things.
Yeah,
like I like the eye tracking in this, and I think we did a good job on that. And we've solved a lot of problems that it's an area we'll carry on evolving with and get better at. Actually, I think that's
so again, like I mean, going back to like Arizona Sunshine, like I mean, that was on the PSVR 1. It was bound to be bad, but at the same point, all the memories I have from that game was just general laughter of me and my mates just doing silly things. So like at the same point, sometimes it's bad, really that bad, when it can cause a lot of good fun. Like if it's bad because it's game breaking, then yes, it's bad. But if it's bad because it's quirky and a bit silly and it's not been done right because it just hasn't, it still adds a good bit of banter between you and your mates, kind of thing. It's
and I love that feeling. I mean, it's why things like Walkabout Mini Golf are so popular, and obviously.
I look back to Goat Simulator, the way of kind of looking at it. The way they kind of put out their plan was like, if it breaks the game, we'll fix it. If it doesn't and it's funny, we're leaving it in there.
Every Wednesday night, I play mostly Phasmophobia, to be honest with you, but with the same group of people. And it sort of started at COVID time when we're like getting together with friends. But we've kept it up, and it's like 3 or 4 years in now. My daughter's, gone from being 16 to 19 or whatever. It's like, just grown up. And we still play. And I think what we've learned over time is it doesn't really matter what the game is, but it needs to be co-op and social. And it delights me that the world has continued to support that, frankly, because you've got really, really good examples like Left 4 Dead, which is a classic example of 4-player co-op, and Phasmophobia is a really good example of it. But there are more coming out, if anything. So we've started playing Repo a little bit.
Repo's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's quite funny, and like exactly, it's got that core loop, which hopefully we've tapped into a little bit of that, but it's your friends just having purpose, doing something together cooperatively. As I say, I've done that every Wednesday with my friends, and they don't want to give up, and I don't want to give up. I love doing it. I love doing
Continue doing it then.
So continue doing it and keep playing new games. But we keep going back to Phasmophobia. To be honest with you, I at GDC this year, I met the Phasmophobia team for the first time, and I spoke to the person that just got hardly got any time, frankly. He was stood on stage doing a speech, but at least I met him, shook his hand.
Yeah.
And then I saw him again develop this year because I recognised him this time, and we were at the same event, like a Unity developer day thing, and I got to spend more time with him and stuff. And I'm a bit of I have to embarrassingly admit I geek out in front of him a little bit because I think that game's great and it's got some good designs. So I'm like, I immediately start speaking to the devs and and asking about how have you done this and how have you done that. It's like interesting.
I feel like I've geeked out a few times while doing this podcast with various people we've had on. I think it made it easier because I met you before and I've
we've
gave you. And but I remember I had Rob Yescom on here recently, and I geeked out a bit while he was on here because literally, like, some of the stuff he's wrote is just things that I remember playing growing up, and it was.
Yeah, and I'm not immune to it. Like,
I'm so glad you're not.
No, if I meet people, I mean, I think the really great people that make things that I really love, of course I'm going to be incredibly geeky about it. And it's like, I'm definitely not immune to it because I'm in dev. In fact, I feel privileged to sometimes be at an event and then hang out with them and and actually have time and get to know them. And I've now got really good friends that make incredible games. It's like who's the latest person? I mean, loads really, but Nils, who makes Grab. We've hung out so much now and just had such a good time together. Eric, who makes Eternal is it Eternal Dungeon? The pixelated one. I'm really embarrassing now.
Ancient Dungeon.
Ancient Dungeon, that's right. I got the name wrong. But Ancient Dungeon, hung out with him quite a lot.
Great game,
Thomas, who makes Laser Dance and
nice.
that, and the same with content creators. I mean,
I'm going to be honest.
Day one, there was no content creators, right? So it's like the people I've known in the space, I've not, like, even people that have like got high amount of. I knew everybody since like they had no followers or the first day they came up. Like GT played Windlands 1 on the PlayStation and interviewed me there, and it was like he got no followers at that point. And then
look at him now, like
but it's not just that. Everybody. I mean, it makes me nothing but proud seeing people, content creators, grow in the space. But I've never had this like preciousness to how many people followers or anything. It's like I just genuinely love VR and want to hang out and talk about it. And there's nobody better to hang about with, like people like yourself that just do podcasts and stuff, because we've got the same passion really, and we're the same kin, and I love that. So it's not the fact that I'm able to work in it is amazing, but actually I really genuinely love VR. So to hang out with people that and games, so it's like hanging out with people.
Because I remember the first time it was WSD when we first met, and I think I maybe had only just started my channel Games with T. I think I'd only been doing that for maybe like 6 months at that point. I hadn't met any of the other content creators in the VR space, and I think that was literally I think I'd only just joined CrossButton about 2 months prior to going to that place as well.
Nice.
And I remember meeting Clickster for the first time. Never spoke to him before, and literally, what a lovely bunch. They was like, hey, this is Reece, got to meet everyone, and everyone said to me at that point, I was like, you need to speak to Jon. You need to speak to Jon.
I don't know why that would be, but
no, literally, Power on VR said it to me. I think Clickster said it to me. Scorpio said it to me. Everyone says to me, you need to speak to Jon.
I mean, all those names I recognise because they're awesome people, right? And honestly, I would anytime drop everything to hang out with them. So it's I just love
I remember you walking over.
I mean, the UK VR scene is awesome.
Yeah, they're a lovely bunch, and I just remember you walking over and we started talking, and it was just like you could just tell at that point you're very passionate about what you do, and you're very passionate to speak about games, and it was just an awesome chat, So it was a great first experience, and
you're making me red again.
Let's
love you too, Reece.
Yeah. Let's get onto the questions that a load of people have asked. Otherwise, I'm going to take it up all your time.
Oh yeah, God, how many hours have we going?
6 hours so far. No, I'm joking. So
feels like that.
It does.
Let's go back and play the game for a bit.
Yeah, let's do that. We should have done the whole episode on the game. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, we should have done it in the game.
Yeah.